This is my prediction video on the Dillian Whyte versus David Allen fight. It's taking place on the 25th of this month, which is June, obviously. Dillian Whyte is my second favourite boxer, active right now. I'm well aware he's not one of the best boxers in the division. I realise he's got a lot of faults, a lot of weaknesses, a lot of things he needs to actually work on. Obviously, his defence and his stamina. You can tell that from the Anthony Joshua fight, from anyone that wants to watch that, and I'm sure everyone pretty much has. I think it was the best fight I watched last year. Now, this is kind of a this is a very hard prediction video to do. I can't find out about David Allen's amateur background. He's not fought very many fights. The fighters he has fought are pretty low ranked. The only real fight he's got good footage of is the Jason Gavern fight, and it didn't show David Allen in the best light. I think if he had a better opponent, it would have, well, at least the opponent actually came to fight. And Jason Gavern went into that fight. It looked like he was trying to find a way out. He was complaining to the ref all the time. He was holding too much. He was low blowing. He was making it really messy, and it made it a really ugly fight, and a fight that was kind of hard to tell how skilled David Allen actually was. He gave up again in the fourth round, the same as when Deontay Wilder fought him. Now, Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua both fought Jason Gavern. Sorry, Anthony Joshua just dominated him very easily. I think he stopped. Yeah, he did. He stopped him in the third round. He actually, I think it was a TKO or a knockout. And in the Deontay Wilder fight, it was Jason Gavern just gave up on his stool in the fourth round again. Deontay Wilder also dominated Jason Gavern and looked significantly better than what David Allen looked like when he fought Jason Gavern. So, from the looks of it, he doesn't look like he's going to be a really top-ranked guy. But you've also got to keep in mind Dillian Whyte right now doesn't look like he's going to be a top-ranked guy. He does have potential, though. He has some really good points, but he also has some weaknesses. Now, David Allen's career, he's got 9 wins, no losses on his record, 1 draw, and 6 KOs. Now, it is worth noting he doesn't look like a big power puncher right now. 2 of them losses were from just people retiring on their stool. Jason Gavern retired on his stool, and Larry as well, he retired on his stool. So he's only got 4 genuine knockouts to his record. Now, them fighters might have went on to get knocked out anyway, so it's maybe kind of unfair judging him that way, but it's definitely a point worth looking at. Dillian Whyte is a far more experienced boxer. 16 wins, 1 loss. And that 1 loss came against a guy that's at the top level of boxing right now. You can argue all day where Anthony Joshua should be placed in the top 10. He might turn out to be the best fighter in the world. He might turn out to be in the middle of the top 10. He might end up to be maybe in the lower point of the top 10 right now. It's kind of hard to tell. But the one thing you can't argue with is Anthony Joshua is a top 10 fighter right now, and he's definitely proved that, in my opinion. Now, Dillian Whyte's definitely a power puncher. He's fought 3 top 100 guys before he fought Anthony Joshua. They have been ranked a lot lower now since that fight, but he knocked them all out. So Dillian Whyte, at least at the time, has actually fought guys better than Jason Gavern, and he performed significantly better against them. Now, the one thing that Dillian Whyte gets criticised for a lot, which is I think it's kind of silly, and I think it's the worst possible light you can put him in, is the Brian Minto fight. When Anthony Joshua went and fought Dillian Whyte, a lot of people just went back and they looked at a lot of people that made prediction videos on that fight weren't that interested in Dillian Whyte, thought it was just going to be an easy, overhyped fight again. and they just looked at the Brian Minto fight. I noticed a lot of people did that, and they even admitted doing that in their prediction videos. And the Brian Minto performance was very poor. It was the poorest performance of Dillian Whyte's career. He went out in there, he just slugged out, didn't use any boxing skill whatsoever. He took a lot of punches, and he looked poor. And after that fight, it said he was because he had a shoulder injury, which he also complained about after the Anthony Joshua fight, and now he's had surgery on it. And I don't expect him to fight that poorly again. Also, since Dillian Whyte's actually fought at that kind of top level, a top level opponent, he'll have learned a lot from that loss. I think you can learn a lot more from a loss than a win most of the time. If you win in a fight, you think you're doing something right, so you continue doing it. But if you lose and you actually see your faults, you can make improvements, you can learn, and you can come back a lot better and a lot stronger. And I fully expect Dillian Whyte to do that. Obviously, Dillian Whyte's weaknesses were his stamina. It's something that can be improved from nutrition, from better training. If you look back at Dillian Whyte's early career, he was in far better shape. He was about 20 pounds lighter than he is now, and he can achieve that again. Maybe he'll be more heavier with muscle mass, but he can definitely lose a lot of that fat, and he's done it before, and he can do it again, and he knows he needs to do that now. He needs the extra weight off, he needs to come in with better stamina. He's hired a different trainer as well. The other problem is he knows he needs to work on his defensive skills. I mean, he's fully admitted he's got stamina problems. He's fully admitted he's got defensive problems. I've seen him say that in interviews. So these are things he's working on. So when Dillian Whyte comes back, you're going to see a better, far more improved, upgraded version of Dillian Whyte. David Allen has never had that experience of fighting at the top level yet. He's never had that experience of fighting a top level boxer in the kind of surroundings that Dillian Whyte has. This gives Dillian Whyte a massive advantage over David Allen. Now, how the fight's going to go is kind of tough. We've not seen the best of David Allen yet. He's had a relatively short career so far. A few things we do know about David Allen is, one, he could be more skilled than Dillian Whyte. That could be an advantage he has over him. He's only went as far as 6 rounds before. David Allen might have far better stamina than Dillian Whyte as well. David Allen's never been knocked down in his career though, so he might actually have quite a solid chin. I mean, this could end up being a tough fight for Dillian Whyte, potentially. I do expect it to be the second toughest fight of Dillian Whyte's career, after Anthony Joshua, of course. Now, you might say, well, Dillian Whyte's been, KO'd during his career, but he got KO'd by someone that so far appears to be a really big puncher. He's got a 100% knockout rate, and he's in the top 10 right now. And he took a lot of blows during that fight, and a lot of people thought he was going to get knocked out in the first or second round. So anyone that thinks Dillian Whyte does have a weak chin, in all honesty, I don't know anyone that does think that. He proved he had a very solid chin fighting Anthony Joshua. His defence was poor. He was taking too many shots, silly shots to the head. His stamina let him down, and he didn't have that kind of high work rate to keep Anthony Joshua off him. But even though he kept getting hit by these shots, it took him 7 rounds to get KO'd. So I do think Dillian Whyte's got a really solid chin. So what I think about this fight is, Dillian Whyte is the stronger fighter. He's a taller fighter, slightly. He's got a slightly longer reach. He's not far more experienced, but he's significantly more experienced than David Allen. He punches, I think I just said, he punches harder than David Allen. Could have about roughly the same kind of skill level. I definitely see Dillian Whyte actually winning this fight. I don't know how far the fight's going to go. I think it's going to be a knockout, but I can't tell for certain. I mean, David Allen is just such a... he's just not had that many fights. It's hard to tell a lot from David Allen from what he's done so far. So I do predict Dillian Whyte KO. I don't know when the hell it's going to be. So anyway, I'm just glad Dillian Whyte's back in the scene again. I think he's great for British boxing. He's a really confident, aggressive fighter. He he has got a crowd pleasing style. He definitely comes to fight. He's one of the most entertaining boxers around right now, and I'm really looking forward to having him back in the mix. I do predict Dillian Whyte's going to win this fight. I think he is going to win by knockout, but it is a really hard fight to predict from knowing so little about David Allen. So that's all I've really got to say.